Could you tell us your name, sir?
Henry William Bowen.
And do you have something that you say in a language other than English, that you say hello?
We use hello, all English.
And where are you from?
Came from Grenada, former British colony in the West Indies. Yes.
And what was it like?
Oh. Well, as a young lad, until I left Grenada to come to Britain at the age of 18, it was a wonderful country. And of course it was also known as the Isle of Spice, a lot of sunshine. And my time there was rather carefree and just enjoying everything that was happening at the moment as a young person. It is a small place, 132 square miles in area, and the population then was about 90,000 plus. Bustling, yes, because of the size of the island. A lot was happening more or less every day with different activities, but more or less in a community spirit. So, yes, it was wonderful, I would say. I lived with my family at the time. I came from a very large family. In total, 16 brothers and sisters, but not living in the house at the same time. The older ones went elsewhere, but at the time I was in the house in Grenada, the home. If I recall, there were 4, 5 brothers, and another 5 sisters, yes. But it was a small house, not necessarily shanty, but all the boys more or less were in one area, of course, and the sisters in other areas of the house. But as a family then, my father, I should mention, married twice. I lost my mother when I was 4 years old, and shortly afterwards he remarried. So at the time there will have been, trying to remember the precise number of the first wife then who were living before he remarried, probably, yes, maybe 10 of us. And as I said, the elder ones went away. When my father remarried, 5 others came along. And again in the old house, yes, there will have been harmony, disharmony, what happens in a family. But yes, I was still happy to be there. My experience was good. So although it was, what would we say, a bit tight, you find space because of the weather. You're living outside as well, the nice sunshine and everything that goes with the harmony of the climate in Grenada, so it was not a problem in that respect. I went to an elementary school in the village. I could remember the first time I went to school, and again, that will have been shortly after my mother died. I was again around 4 years old, and remembering my eldest sister sending me to school with a flask of Quaker oats porridge, which we will have at, for example, you break your first break about 10 o'clock. And yes, so that's my first recollection. So as time goes over the years, yes, you progress within the school. The teaching, which I will say it was purely British colonial history. We were taught everything about the British Empire then. And as I say, some of this stuff which we were being taught then, I still hold dearly, even at this time in my life. Yes, we learn a lot about the poets such as Henry Longfellow, Burns, and all the others. We had to recite some of the stuff which they wrote. And also, which I thought then, and I hold on to the values now, the fables, the Aesop fables, as part of the curriculum in teaching you how to be kind and good to others. So I still hold on dearly to these initial training and teaching in the school. Now, the school was not very far from where we live, approximately, about less than a quarter mile away. You started at 9 o'clock, you had an hour for lunch break, and then you finish at about 3 o'clock. And again, all the teaching was of a moral nature. The school was a Roman Catholic school then, so you were taught a lot about Catholicism, yes, Roman Catholicism. And again, I will say those formative years has helped me to develop into a character and personality which I hold dearly today in that regard. So the school in the village was very good, wonderful to me.
Was it strict?
Well, yes, in a way, because Grenada being a small island, you parents, uncles, aunts and everyone, they live in the village then, and you had to behave properly. So if you did something that was naughty, there'll be someone who said, okay, I'm going to tell your father about it. And everyone is there more or less looking after your welfare. So likewise in school, it was easy for the teacher. So the kids were not misbehaving in a way where it was difficult. The teacher taught, and the kids as students, you are expected to listen and obey. So this strictness is all part of the community way of living. So you had a church, the older people, or we had to go to church, Sunday school, and well, prepare for that. So we were taught all along the way. So strict, but it was essential because they're forming a great your personality and character. So it's not many students will rebel. And sometimes in the rare cases where it happens, for whatever reason, they will be caned in the front of all the other kids here. And the term then used for the headmaster using this strap was being benched. So discipline and strictness, yes, that was essential and not difficult for the teacher to pursue. Community aspect that helped.